Okay, so last time we were talking about time management, and there's always the question of am I using my time well? Am I using my time productively? Am I using my time, the way I ought to, right? And I said it starts from how you view your time, right? I see my own time as an investment. So every moment I live, I see it as an opportunity to invest in people's lives, invest in my family, invest in my work. And which means that first you have to define what your work is. What is your work? My own work is helping people reach their potential, helping people get the best out of themselves, right? Breaking them out of confining beliefs that has made them, less of who they can actually be. So it's about making them understand that look, no matter what you think you think life has dealt you, it's something you can turn around, right? No matter how bad it is. One of the stories in the Bible that is always fascinating is the story of Esau. Everybody is always talking about the fact that Esau lost his birthright and all of that gibberish. But the truth is, despite losing his birthright, when he met his brother again, he was well off, right? Because his brother came with gifts and he told his brother, I don't need your gift. God has been good to me too. So that tells you that no matter how bad the situation is, you can make it better, right? You can make it better if you allow yourself. Do you understand? So, and that comes from how you think about it, right? So, if time is an investment, if time is a currency, then what am I using it to pay for, right? And for me, every moment I'm awake, I'm investing in my family, my children, my wife, and of course, my work. My work is people, basically. And so I have to acquire knowledge. I have to know more to be able to help people to know more and be more of who they can be, right? And so if time is a resource, if time is more valuable than money, why then are you wasting it doing things that are unproductive? So, for example, you hardly see me sit 10 hours in front of a TV, except if there's something that I'm learning from them. When I did a 1 or 2 weeks crash course on what they call it, Game of Thrones, there were things I was looking out for. There were certain conversations in that series that, you know, kind of caught my attention, right? And it taught me a lot about morality, about wars, why we have wars in the world, why weakness is not a virtue, right? Being weak does not make you good, right? And so many things that can be learned. Many people think, oh, it's peer pressure. I actually enjoyed watching it, that I had to go and watch it again to tell you how impressed I was by the plot. Of course, there were a lot of lapses here and there, but the core of the message is what I concentrated on, right? And it's about investment of time. The things I learned in that period, I may not have been able to learn it. If I spent 5 years in school, what did I learn? I've not used anything I learned in school, except maybe a few theories. So it tells you how the investment of time is very important, and understanding that time is a resource much more valuable than money. Then you can then realize why somebody like Bill Gates, who has the same 24 hours as you, spends that 24 hours on certain things that you consider a luxury, right? You consider is Why will somebody sit down and read 4 books in a week? What is it? Is it trying to change the world? Of course, it's changing the world at that level. So that tells you that there's certain things you cannot skip. Yeah, if you want to be good, very good at what you do, then you have to learn, you have to read, and that's time. You have to invest time to gather knowledge, you have to invest time to test things out, right? We've been doing ATL since 2017. We've not always done things the same way, right? In 2017, if you miss class like this, that's the end, you are out, you know. But we learned over the years that some people take time to catch up, some people take time to understand concepts, so we started giving people more room, and it's just the same way. The last three screenings that we've had, you know you sometimes you just do small thing, you're out, but now there's a bit of leniency to allow you time to decide if you want to invest your time in this process to make you expand your mind. It's like the people in the inner sanctum. There were some books I gave them, and some of them have been saying, oh, those books are crazy, the kind of things it's doing to their minds. And that is the exact purpose of learning. The more you learn, the more it should expand your mind, not just give you things to be excited about. Oh, word, Rema, all those things are useless if it does not change the wiring in your brain, right? So, and that's the essence of everything we're doing here, to help you to realize that if you're going to have a meaningful life, you have to invest your time and your life in a certain way, right? And somebody says, oh, are we just going to be reading? I can assure you, if you read relevant materials for the next 5 years and you read and understand what you're reading, I bet you your life cannot remain the same. I remember, long ago when we were reading books like Mad Men, NYC, all my NYC salary, I used it. The day they paid, I took everything, I went to the bookstore and bought books. All of those books, all of those knowledge, of course, it's not all of them I could apply as is, right? But many of those things are part of what I'm using now, both in my work and in my life, in my business, in my relationships, in so many other areas, and so that's why you have to realize that time is something that you allocate to productive purposes. So, for example, me, I have only 3 things at the top of my interest list on a daily basis. Every day I wake up, I think about my family, of course, my wife, my children, extended family maybe, but my my close family is my priority, right? I think about their welfare. What do I need to put in place? What systems do I need to build? What education do I need to get? And all of those things, right? And then I look at my work. What knowledge do I need? What tools do I need? And I build around that, right? And of course, I think about my friends. I don't keep too many friends, but if you're my friend, you have to think in productive ways. You cannot think, oh, let me just get a job and live a normal life. You cannot be my friend and be normal. If you want to be normal, you cannot be my friend. And that's the way it works. If you're going to be different, be different. If you're going to be anything, be a very good version of it, right? So that's why it's important that you understand that time is a resource, and you must define what is important to you so that you can allocate time appropriately. For example, I watch every Man U game. Well, most of them. Sometimes I watch them reading a book. Once I start watching and it's boring, I pick up a book and I'm reading. That way I'm multitasking, right? Sometimes, most of the time, I try not to take lectures while watching football or any other thing because it's a distraction. And it's part of why there's no TV in my office. My office is only work tools. If I get tired, I go and watch, or I go and do something else. I go on YouTube if need be. But the point is, I always stay focused on what I'm doing per time. When I'm out of that, I'm out of that, right? So it's easy for me to easily tune out of one task and go to another, right? So, and that is why it's important to define what's important to you, and of course make the most of, oh sorry, yeah, so, and as much as possible make the most of the time you have, because truth be told, we have just a very short time here, right? Nobody is going to be here forever, and nobody knows how long you have. You don't know if you have 5 days or 5 years or 20 years. Even all the planning we are doing, oh, in 20 years' time, are you sure you will be there in 20 years' time? Do you understand? So that's why it's so important to understand that everything is happening now. What you're doing now are seeds in your future. They're seeds into your future. What you're sowing now is what you will reap tomorrow. If you save today, you would be saved tomorrow. If you read and learn today, you would have things to exchange in the future. Somebody says poverty is having nothing to exchange, and I agree. Because if you are dull, don't know anything, even trading requires knowledge. You have to learn, you have to do stuff. So the more you know, the more you are likely to do better. And when you do better, you're going to stand out, right? And so that's why it's important to give time the respect it deserves, right? Stop taking time like it's just one of those things. It is more important than your money, that you are always calculating and doing, you know. It's very important to, put your mind in the right frame, and then you can make the most of your life here on this side of eternity. So catch you guys later. Sorry for the long video.